see. Mario's a sociopath, Peach is a bipolar dictator commanding an army of brainwashed fungi, and Bowser is a struggling single parent. Is there, anyone left? Well, hello. Hello Internet, welcome to Game Theory, where today you're gonna learn how you've been brainwashed without even knowing it. But more on that later. At this point, you'd think we'd be able to just leave the Mario franchise alone. I mean, is no corner of the Mushroom Kingdom sacred? No, it's not. And let's face it, if my Mario theories have shown us anything, it's that Luigi is probably the best of the bunch. Although most of the 160 plus games he's appeared in have kept him in the background. Yeah, 160. I was surprised too. When he's not there to just fill out the doubles for Mario's tennis games or ride in the back of Mario's carts, we get the sense that he's an awesome guy. Sure, he may be a coward, but even in the face of fear, he still gets the job done. He clearly loves, admires, and respects his brother, as we see countless times throughout the series, specifically on Star Hill in Super Mario RPG and from his journal in Paper Mario. I mean, the guy's willing to suffer through haunted mansions and horrendous spin-off titles whenever Mario goes missing, and he's even been known to cry tears of joy when he successfully saves his brother. He's just cool, more psychologically deep than pretty much any other character in this franchise, with fears, hopes, dreams, wishes, and let's face it, he wears green. Game Theory's color is also green, match made in heaven. I kinda like the guy. You know what? It's long past time that we give Luigi some well-deserved love. And yet, once again, as we've seen time and time again in this franchise, looks may be deceiving. Because in researching the lovable underdog Luigi, one particular appearance of his stood out from the rest. If we're talking about really diving deep to find out what makes Luigi tick, we need to look no further than a game where we get to see all the sides of him. All two sides, that is. Because the most insightful title for talking about Luigi is Super Paper Mario. Admittedly, while the character may seem flat at first, let me tell you that there are a lot of dimensions to explore here. Get it? They're all paper jokes. I'm sure you got it, and you're just cringing and hoping that the script moves on. Hey PewDiePie, put this in your next cringe compilation, huh? In case you haven't stumbled into this particular corner of the Mario games, I can't really blame you. This game is perhaps the most unusual in the official Mario lineup, outside of the gameplay being completely unique and completely bonkers, requiring you to hop into and out of 2D and 3D environments. The tone of this game is just so much darker, so much more sarcastic, and incredibly cynical. Whole worlds get ripped to shreds, leaving only nothingness in their place. Mario and the gang quite literally travel to hell, known here as the Underwear. And breaking all rules, Bowser and Peach pretty much get married. You know all that creepy music I used in my early FNAF theories? A bunch came from this game. Yeah, we've come a long way from your parents' Mario athletic theme. Regardless, even if you didn't play Super Paper Mario, here's what you need to know. The big baddies for this game aren't Bowser and Peach, it's Count Black. Not JonTron, Black. And his, like, totally angsty counterculture business associate, Nastasia. At an early point in our story, Luigi finds himself to be the first responder on the scene of Count Black's castle, where he gets duped by two Goombas who lead him straight to Nastasia. What happens next is why this game will end up being important for Luigi. Nastasia uses her hypnotic laser eyes to instantly hypnotize him, turning him into the evil Mr.L.
Mr.L.
Nope, Mr.L, an arrogant villain with an attraction to Peach and a jealousy of Mario's jumping abilities. He fights viciously against Mario and the gang in multiple forms across the entirety of the game, up to and including the final boss. He's violent, he's aggressive, and he is out for blood. And if you're upset that I didn't put spoiler tags before revealing that this guy is Luigi, well then, I just have no words for you. No words, I say! Now, to understand why this is important for Luigi, we have to talk about hypnosis. In all the official game wikis, Nastasia is referred to as having instantaneous hypnotic powers, and Luigi is referred to as being hypnotized. In-game, though, Nastasia refers to her powers as both hypnosis and as brainwashing. So, which is it? We need to start off by figuring out the differences between the two. In most definitions, brainwashing and hypnosis are different, but they're not necessarily completely unrelated. related. It's probably best to think of brainwashing as a spectrum. You can brainwash people in a whole bunch of different ways, with some being way more extreme than others. When you think about brainwashing, I'm sure you think about things like the Winter Soldier in Captain America, or worse, cult leaders who brainwash their followers into doing crazy things, like fearing babies toting nuclear warheads. Actually, yeah, I'm not brainwashed and that thing scares me, so good job, cult. Anyway, there are three major types of brainwashing that exist: educational, persuasive, and suggestive, with hypnosis being one of those stops on the spectrum. The most extreme type of brainwashing is known as the education method, and it's the kind of stuff that you see in the movies and most associate with the concept of brainwashing. These are your Winter Soldiers or COD Black Ops styles of mind control, where torture and isolation are working to alter the way the mind feels and thinks. As a result, it's the only type of brainwashing that literally reprograms the concepts of right and wrong in the human brain. It takes weeks, oftentimes months, for someone to be affected by the educational method, which is why cults indoctrinate people over the course of years until they're finally ready to ask them to drink the Kool-Aid. Literally. One of the most famous cases of this kind of brainwashing is the Patty Hearst case. In case you don't know this one, 19-year-old Patty Hearst was kidnapped by the Symbionese Liberation Army in 1974. After she was kidnapped, she was left in a closet for weeks on end with nothing but Liberation Army pamphlets. Every time they let her out of the closet, they talked to her about politics, threatening to kill her, until one day she announced that she wanted to join their cause. After that, she became one of the most vocal representatives of the Symbionese Liberation Army. She even changed her name to Tanya before robbing a bank, kidnapping 2 people, and even building bombs to help murder police officers. And this wasn't an act to make nice with her captors. She never attempted to escape and even went to prison for her actions as a member of the army. So you can see that the educational method is pretty scary, but it's also pretty hard to pull off. For example, during the Korean War, North Korea tried to re-educate tens of thousands of South Korean and American prisoners of war in special camps designed to brainwash prisoners into being sympathetic to the North Korean cause. At the end of the war, though, only a few hundred POWs, including only 21 Americans, were reported to have voluntarily remained loyal to North Korea. Long story short, this kind of brainwashing is not what we're seeing in Super Paper Mario. This takes years and usually involves extreme physical and mental torture. What we see happen in the game is practically instantaneous. Nastasia barely has to blink her laser eyes to change Luigi into Mr.L. It's not possible that this is the educational method. So we move down the spectrum to persuasive brainwashing. And this is the form that all of us, myself included, have gone through. Have you ever gotten a compliment on something that you wore, so you started to wear it more? Or stopped from doing something because your parents yelled at you? Well then, congratulations on a successful brainwashing. Another name for persuasive brainwashing is simply classical conditioning, something a lot of us are familiar with, where our behavior changes because we get a reward or punishment for doing something. Our beliefs aren't different, but our expectation for reward is. Think about it this way. When you bribe someone to go against their morals, since that's a scenario I'm sure happens to you all the time, that person probably knows what they're doing isn't right, but they also know that they're going to get paid for it, so they're acting based on where they're going to be rewarded. You're not changing their moral code, you're just changing their expectation for reward every time they break that moral code. So is that what's happening to Luigi? Again, no. The dialogue at the beginning of the game is clear. Nastasia and Count Black haven't offered Luigi anything to cross over to the dark side and become Mr.L. There's also no major threat either. Once Luigi becomes Mr.L, he starts actively making evil decisions all on his own, without Nastasia interfering. So clearly that's not it either, meaning we have to move to the third and final form of brainwashing, suggestive brainwashing, aka hypnosis. As I mentioned, Nastasia herself says that her power is hypnosis, but what does that actually mean? Personally, I always thought that hypnosis was just a magic trick. There are plenty of people out there, though, who practice hypnosis as a profession, and they'll tell you a much different story. According to statistics from the Society of Clinical Hypnosis, hypnosis is a state of selective, focused attention, and about 85% of people can achieve some kind of hypnotic state. But still, this is all just a bunch of malarkey, right? Well, no. Last month, I went to a YouTube event in New York where Jacksepticeye and I happened to win a taco challenge judged by the world-renowned chef, Rachel Ray. Sorry, I had no other opportunity to really brag about that, so I figured I'd shove it in here. But more to the point, at this event, we got to see a real hypnosis demonstration done on YouTubers who I know and am personal friends with. And let me tell you, these guys weren't acting. And of course, because it happened to YouTubers, duh, it's all over YouTube. Cue the clip. At first, it starts out fine. The hypnotist just asks them to relax. That's nice. Then they start falling over. Then they start licking ice cream, aggressively. And then there come the cows, that of course have to be milked, enthusiastically. Joey's name gets switched to E-I-E-I-O and Fousey Tube becomes a fairy. It was a weird day. Afterward, you can see in Joey Graceffa's vlog that he felt awake and aware during the whole experience.
Like in the moment, like my mind was like, oh, you can do this, like this is what you're supposed to do.
Looking at my own personal experience watching the show, it seems pretty clear that the hypnosis happened pretty fast, as quickly as you saw in the video. It's just a matter of finding people whose minds are open to accept the power of suggestion. And look at Luigi, he's a textbook candidate. He's used to taking direction from everyone. He's been controlled by people all his life. He's already used to taking action based on what's suggested to him. This is also definitely the closest thing we see to Nastasia's powers in Super Paper Mario. She's described as having instantaneous hypnotic powers, which is a little faster than what happened at the YouTube event, but frankly, not by all that much. The hypnotist wasn't shooting hypno lasers out of his eyeballs or anything. We also see characters in the game going in and out of this hypnotic trance. Luigi flips back and forth between himself and Mr.L as fast as you see YouTubers falling asleep and waking back up in the video. Okay, great, so Luigi is hypnotized. That explains what happens to him and why he becomes the evil Mr.L, right? Actually, no. It turns out that Luigi's behavior can't be explained away by hypnosis. Listen to this clip from the beginning of my YouTuber Hypno Sesh.
Stare straight ahead just for a moment. I'll count to 3, but not before. When I do reach 3, all you have to do is just close your eyes. That's all I'm going to ask you to do. 1, 2, and 3. Close your eyes. Good. Open them back up. There you go. There's no lotion, potion, magic, pixie dust. Harry Potter's not going to run on stage with a magic wand. There is no feeling of hypnosis. All hypnosis feels like is what you imagine it to be.
Hypnosis is what you imagine it to be. This is really important because once you're in a trance, you're essentially only as hypnotized as you let yourself become. In my research, one of the most common questions that hypnotherapists get is, will I be forced to do things that I don't want to do? And the answer that they always give is no. That even if the hypnotherapist wanted to make the patient do something that they wouldn't otherwise do, they wouldn't be able to. Quote, if you hypnotize someone, they'll not do anything against their morals. And here's another quote. No, there's no loss of control. Hypnosis allows clients to be more focused and actually achieve more, not less control. Remember, you're not changing what they believe in, you're not bribing them, and you're not forcing them. You're just making suggestions that, based on the patient's existing morals, sound like a really good idea. Yeah, Joey, you milk that cow. You milk it good and hard. So what's that mean for Mr.L and Luigi? Well, considering Luigi has been hypnotized, and that those under hypnosis won't break their moral codes, that only leaves one possibility. That Luigi isn't acting against his own will in Super Paper Mario when he becomes Mr.L. When Nastasia hypnotizes him, his morals aren't changing. Under that sweet, doofy Luigi exterior we all know and love has existed Mr.L all along. He didn't need to be re-educated, he didn't even need to be threatened. He just needed to find himself in a hypnotic trance where he lost all his inhibitions and fears, and for once in his life wasn't afraid to show how he really felt. And it makes sense, doesn't it? Sarcasm for Bowser, feelings for Peach, open antagonism for Mario. When he falls into a trance, the real Luigi comes out, unearthing what seems to be some pretty intense feelings for the gang. They might not think he's in control, that this is all some alternate persona, but he most definitely is. That man, Mr.L, is the true form of Luigi, his thoughts and his ambitions. So there you have it. The most real Luigi has ever been with us was under hypnosis in Super Paper Mario. So the next time you're playing a game with Luigi, just remember there's a lot more underneath that cute little green ensemble than you think. Ha! And you thought that the Luigi death stare was just a meme. Think again. But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching.